Hello friends, this is Nilatri Mahapatra. Greetings of the day. Today we'll talk about Scrum board and how we can configure this in Rally. Before we start, I want you to give you a reference of the article that I already have written on Scrum board. You can directly go to agiledigest.com. So over here, this is agiledigest.com. You can go directly to tutorial and agile key components. You can go to the Scrum boards, and from here you can actually read in details of how you can configure Scrum boards and details of each and every parts of the Scrum board's configuration and understanding it. Also, you can browse through the YouTube channel where you can actually learn about the Scrum board. There are many videos on Agiles. For particularly Scrum board, there are already one videos that's talking about Scrum boards, and this video I'm making for configuring the Scrum board within Rally. So let's talk about the agenda today. So today we'll talk about the workflows. We already talked about mapping the states and different columns. So there will be a workflow for stories, there will be workflow for tasks. We'll talk about that and how we can configure them in Rally. And then we'll configure the board for particularly that workflow, and we'll set the column map, the status for that, and we'll make some card layout, task card and story card, how that looks like, and also some additional field how we can add on them. And then we can create some swim lanes based on your need. You can configure the swim lanes, and we'll see if there are any options that we can set some filter to make the board more meaningful for your need. Now let's assume these are the workflows that we are planning to. So we'll be having to do analysis, dev in progress, test in progress, completed, verification and done. This will be the story workflow, and we'll be having a task workflow with to do in progress and done. Why there are difference between two workflows? You can read the another article or watch the video of understanding Scrum board. You will be able to know what exactly the difference between these two workflows. Let's begin. So this is Rally, and within Rally, first options we need to do is we need to understand the workflow where we can configure it. And to configure the workflow within Rally, we'll go to track and we'll go to team board. On an assumption purpose, we already assumes that currently we are working on sprint 4. All the sprint planning is done, the stories are committed, the tasks are created, and we just need to configure the board to start our daily Scrum call from the next day onward. Today we'll see this is all the stories in this particular screen where we say team board, where it shows stories of all these sprints. We'll be making a little filter to make these stories for sprint 4 only. So here I can select, so click on this filter, we'll come to iteration, select the iteration 4, and this particular task is currently showing your sprint 4 commitments. Now we need to make these columns as per we decided. We need to have the workflow based on what we already have planned for. So this is to do analysis, dev in progress, test in progress, completed, verification and done. So what we'll be doing is we'll creating these columns first. To do analysis, dev in progress, test in progress, completed, verification and done. So here we'll go to settings and we have to do, and instead of analysis I can say this is analysis, dev in progress, test in PROGRESS, we have completed, and I can create add workflow states, and I can actually drag this to completed, and here I'll put it This will be my verification, and this is my last column will be done. Now in Rally, by default there are 4 states. Those are, if you look into all these states, we have backlog, we have defined, we have in progress, then you can have completed, and you can have accepted. These are the states by default you will get. The backlog is actually not by default, that I have created. So by default you will get defined, in progress, completed, and accepted. Those are the 4 states you will get. Now I need to map these particular columns with those 4 or 5 state. If you have, you can create one more state after accepted. So by default Rally have 4 states. You can create 1 additional states at the beginning and 1 additional states at the end. Now to do, I am mapping with the states backlog. Analysis, I am saying this should be in progress. Dev in progress will be also in progress. Test in progress also be a part of in progress. Completed, I am saying okay, this particular development work is completed and needs to be verification, and this again will be part of verification. So verification will be done on the completed states, and the last final one is done. WIP limit, I am not configuring this WIP limit here, because WIP limit mainly useful when you are working on a Kanban system, and this exit agreement or the exit policies also work on your Kanban systems mainly. So these are the just mapping I have done, and we'll see how the stories are currently looking into. Now we'll see how the stories are currently mapped within the column. So I'll go back to the board here. I'll save it, and I have the same column states that we currently have. This is the basic structure where you need to configure, and you can have these stories align into those particular columns. And now this particular storyboard is actually useful for the product owner or the senior management, where they don't need to go into details of the task where those are currently working on, or where the task is in progress or done or not. They just want to see whether the story is ready or completed and ready for verification, and once they are done, the product owner can accept the story by moving it to done. So this is where you configure the mapping of states and columns. Okay, now we'll create one custom storyboards that you may need to work on, and in this storyboard also you can see there are columns for blocked, there are columns for this is what you say is okay, done from this state and ready to pull. So if you are saying this is if you mark this, that means this is ready on analysis. Whoever is doing on development, they can ready to pull in, and once you will pull in this story over here, it will again turn to white. So you need to, once you are done with this particular task or particular story in this particular column, you can mark this as green. So this particular actions is very useful when you are working on a Kanban system, because Kanban system is a pool based system, so you need to make your stories mark as ready to pull. But here also you can use that, and also these are the different task cards information, whether this is in to-do state or even if it is analysis, you can actually mark this state into different columns, different states. Okay, and there are some tasks under it, so we'll see how we can see that. So if you click into particular this story, it gives you all the details of that story, description, parents. So this is a community edition of Rally, so I don't have access to the parents, otherwise you can have the features associated with these stories. And now if you have any task, you can click over here and you can see what are the tasks associated with this. You can create tasks, and that way you can go. I will be clicking to return to the previous view, and now I'll see if there is any task that I have created, if there is any story that I have created task for. Or if not, I can just create one task and see how we can see that. Okay, so for particular this story US20, I will be creating some task, and let's say create a task for development. I'm saying development development, and I'll create this task. I will be saying, okay, this task is not yet started. So the task state, if you see a task, the states are to do, in progress, is done, and why that is by default in Rally. So all the tasks will be having only 3 different states. If you are doing development, the development means it needs to be done, that is in defined state. It's in progress, that means the task is currently in construction state, and once it is done, you can move the task to done. So when all the tasks are done, that means the story is done. So I'll be assigning this task to someone else, and I'm saying, okay, what is the to do? This is the remaining hour. So I say this is 10 hours of work remaining, and estimate will automatically change to 10 hours if you don't change it. Okay, now one of my tasks is created. I'll return to my board, and it says to do is 10 hours because this is a cumulative of all the tasks. Here it's saying to do is 20 because there may be tasks, there are 3 tasks under it, and if you look into the total to do, 10 10 is 20. If I burn it down to 8, so there are 18 hours total of remaining. Okay, so this is how you will be configuring your storyboard and task board. So the senior management product owner can definitely browse through this particular board and see where they are currently positioning at that particular sprint duration. Also, you can see some graphs here, but these graphs, cumulative flow or cycle time or throughputs, those are Kanban based metrics. So we'll be working on will not be looking into these particular metrics here. This particular area is just to configure your mapping between the columns and states. Now I will create a few custom board, one for storyboard, one for task board. Let's see how we can do it. So I'll go to report, or you can actually create on any places. Here you can, so I had already created one. I'll create one more. So go to track and click on this plus sign. Now give a storyboard. So I can say AD storyboard, and I want to create it for one particular this project, because you can create different boards for different project based on your need, and this will be based on iteration. So I'll select iteration here. And I'll say save and close. Okay, so once you have done that, it will ask for how do you want to have the layout. So this is the entire screen. This is a screen split into 2 portions. This is a 2/3, 1/3 kind of distribution. You can actually add different gadgets on your screen. So I'm just creating one gadget that will occupy the entire screen, and I'll select, okay, just let me create a custom board where it will be kind of looks like this, and add this app. So this is your board created. What I'll be doing is I'll be just creating the name of this board. Right now it is saying custom board. I'll go to settings and change, instead of custom board, just change me to AD Scrum board. So any name you can actually give. Now here you have the board that whatever you created, AD storyboard will be available in this menu options because you have created under track, and this is all these stories with these are the column. These are the columns it is showing. So what we need to do is we need to change these column structures, because this is the default states we have, right? So we need to change those board into the default we already mapped over there. So instead of using this, I will be changing that by going to settings. And Rally, these the 5 states that I was talking about. In fact, 4 states: your defined, in progress, completed and accepted are called schedule state. But instead of schedule state here, these are the columns. Here I am actually, you can use, you can have user stories or task or many, whatever the options you can, different types of your stories or components within Rally you can select as a part of your task Scrum board. I will be using story card instead of schedule state as a column. I will be taking the flow state. This flow state is actually what you have mapped, and if I click on save now, you'll see these columns are actually inherited from that map we already done. And now here also, whatever you will be moving, it will be working there. In this board also, you can click on the stories, you can get the same interface here to work into the task, dependencies, defects or anything. This is a different views of that, and this is the state of the story. So anything, so schedule state, you can see in progress. Currently this one is in progress. This one is analysis is again defined, so you can mark it to in progress. Now this story is currently in progress, so whatever you will be moving into. So for an example, if this story is done, this story I can actually move it to completed. So this story is now completed and it's in completed. Internally the state of the story, if you click here, I'll just save. So here the internal state has changed, right? So that way your stories can move. This is your custom board. Here it shows you whom this story is assigned to, and there are many different areas, so you can actually add task, defects, test cases from here. You can actually mark this as ready to pull. So once you will mark this ready to pull, it will again come as green. So on the last board also we talked about that. You can mark the story as blocked. So if you mark the story as blocked, that will turn as red, so that you can see, okay, this story is currently blocked, and you need to give a reason of blocked reason, BLOCKED. So you just mention the blocked reason here. There are a few other areas that you can work on. You can actually have some actions. So you can create childs, edit or rank, split the stories. We'll talk about story splitting later. So you can take different action on each story base also. And you can define the card color. So right now everything is blue. For any particular purpose you want to make this card, for an example, some other colors instead of, so that you can easily identify, I can mark it as yellow. So this is I marked as yellow card. So you can actually categorize the color based on if there is some technical spikes, or you can working on some high priority stories. You can categorize. You can categorize the story card by giving different colors. Now here also, what are the components you want to see in the cards? You can actually can by default see all this information here. Now again, here we can distribute this entire storyboard into different swim lanes. So swim lanes we already talked about what are the different swim lanes we have. So if you go to settings and you can select the swim lanes. Swim lanes is actually you can distribute the entire board into different swim lanes based on different features. So as this is a community editions, I don't have the options for enabling features. Otherwise you can actually have parents, so feature the parents of each user story. So stories will be categorized on different features. To show you how this looks like, I'll select one custom field. So you can use a custom field priority that I have created for this particular demo. This is on a Moscow priority. So if you distribute the storyboard with that Moscow, you see this is actually distributed the board into different Moscow categorization or priority. You can actually move the stories from one priority to another priority, or you can move within horizontally from one state to another state. So if you are actually working on original version of paid version of Rally, you will have the options to select features, so you can categorize stories based on different features. That's one of the very important way you can categorize or move your stories, because there may be different stakeholders working for different projects, different features, and they can actually concentrate on that particular swim lanes. Now we'll be making one task card where the developer, the testers will be actually working on. So how we can do that? We'll be creating another custom board. I'll be saying AD task card, and I am again making it for Agile Digest, distributing with iteration, and I'll be saying OK, save and close. Right, so here again that will ask for your layout. I'll select full screen, and then I'll select the task board and add this app. So I'm having this task board. I can select the iteration as sprint 4, and it shows story wise distribution of this is the story and these are the tasks. You can move the task from one state to another state within this board. So this is your task board the developer will be working on, and here also you can have the to do hours, whom it is assigned to, what exactly the task description, what is the task ID, how many works was remaining. So this is estimated hours and this is a to do hours. So estimated was 12, so we changed some of the task. So for an example, this one is 4 hour estimated, 4 hours remaining. If I click here, it shows the same layout here. You can change the estimated to do hours from here. So to do, I am saying okay, as of today 3 hours is remaining. So you can see out of 4, 3 hours is remaining. You can also have the options on the task card level. You can add a discussion, you can edit it, copy it, and the same different actions items you can do. You can also mark it as ready to pull, so it will turn as green. So this if one task is currently working with multiple people, you can actually mark that is green, so that if the analysis is done, developer can actually start working on, or if the development is done, the tester can start working on their task. So that way you can actually mark in progress or completed. So you can mark this story. So in that way you can actually mark the story is ready within in progress, or move it to completed, so that the tester can get a notification. You can mark a particular story as blocked. So this is one task that I have marked as blocked, and in that way it will turn as red, and you can say how it is looks like. And also you can give a different colors for your task. So that way you will be configuring your task card and story card. So once your for an example all the tasks are completed, so let me just mark this for everything is completed for this particular story. Once you are done, you can see this is the user story, and the user story by default is moved to completed. So now once the user story is moved to completed, your storyboard, in your storyboard, that will be the story will be automatically moved to your completed state, so that the product owner can start doing the verification and mark the story as accepted or done. So on the task board, all your users task cards are by default under a swim lanes that is managed by the user story. So all tasks are part of user stories. The hierarchy is like that. So here it will be by default aligned with your user stories, and it will not give you any options to distribute your task cards with different swim lanes. But there are few settings options you can actually look into in your task board. Hide accepted. So this is the name of your task board, and automatically adjust the height and hide accepted work. So if so let's see how that works. So if I say hide accepted work, that will disappear from the task board, so that the development team can concentrate on only work that needs to do. So US10 currently in completed state, will go back to our storyboard and we'll see what the product owner are able to see now. So US 10 is in completed states. If I'm working as a product owner, I'll start my verification. I'll move it to verification state and do the verification. And once I am completed, I am done with the verification. US 10 is now done. So if you look into this state, this is accepted A. Once you move it to the last state, now this user story will no longer be visible on your task board. So here you see US 10 is no longer there. So that's way you will be able to configure your storyboard and task board to work accordingly based on your need. I hope I was able to demonstrate what exactly you are looking for in terms of configuring your storyboard and task board within Rally. If you have any questions, you can drop a comments, you can give me an email, or anyhow you can just mention within YouTube or the article areas. All the links that I have mentioned, I will be adding them in the comment section of the YouTube. Hope you enjoyed this video and this video gave you the information that you are looking for. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you on our next YouTube video with some different topics. Till that time, have a wonderful day. We'll see you on our next video. Thanks. Bye-bye.